AnY, and welcome to my first impressions of Traitor by Scott Sonborn. As you can see, different location, different video and so on, and this video is probably out a little bit late for first impressions, but I am at my parents over Easter, which is a rather big thing in Europe, so yeah, visiting the family for the holidays, and that's where I am, but I wouldn't miss on an episode and a first impression, even though I'm kind of alone. This episode, interesting one, I have to say. A lot of stuff going on. I can't believe that it actually has been a normal 22-minute episode, because there was happening quite a lot. I expect Digi to like it, because holy crap, this was a dense one. I personally also like that there have been how many story arcs going on. The main six got split into pairs, kind of. We got Twilight and Pinky, we got Applejack and Rarity, and we got Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash. Even Spike got a really worthy and worthwhile inclusion. He was there in the opening. It was established that he is going to do his thing with a comic book, and in the very end he even got his front and center shot where he concludes his own trade. And yes, this is another really well done, smooth inclusion of Spike. He didn't have to say much, but he got a line, AnY. He got a line, so I'm not just happy when he is quiet. He got his line and he was included nicely. He got not too much focus, because after all we were already following 3 storylines, so very well done. Okay, there was a lot on the humor end of things. I guess this was the main problem with Scott Sonborn's other episode, with Some Pony to Watch Over Me. The problem with that one was that he completely tore apart Applejack's character in order to create all those funny situations, in order to create all those jokes. But I have to say, this time he played a lot with humor. He seems to be the humor guy, but none of the characters felt completely over the top out there. Maybe because he oriented all the things that happened very much on past episodes. And this brings me to the main point I have to say about this episode. This episode was a callback fest. There were callbacks all over the place. There were many callbacks to the current season, which kind of gets this wrapping stuff up feeling. So I kind of have the feeling this may have been, I don't know anything about the upcoming episodes, and I don't want to know anything, but from my point of view, as somebody who is completely blind about all the stuff that is still going to happen in Season 4, I have a feeling this kind of was a wrap-up episode before the big finale starts. So maybe we got the next episode, which is kind of the introduction to the finale, and then we got still one episode more, so the next episode is preparing everything. The episode after is the introduction to the finale, and then we got the big season finale in 2 parts. And that's kind of what I expect. Maybe the next one will be a filler after all. I'm speculating right now. Nevertheless, this episode was kind of a roundup, a wrap-up of things that happened so far. We addressed stuff like Spike and the comic books, thing with Twilight, being a princess, and I really liked how it got been addressed. It pretty much gives a certain understanding of how Twilight reacted so far. She really does not consider herself a princess. She considers herself to be rather normal, just with a pair of wings and a title. And this is pretty much what I hope from her, that she does not necessarily just become this completely different personality, that she stays to her true self. And in Rarity Takes Manhattan, I actually heard a very good explanation why she wasn't even able to get a cap. Ponies don't wear a lot of clothes and accessories. Most of the time they are naked and they have horns, they have wings, but both elements on themselves are rather normal. Most people cannot recall in detail the clothes of a person they just happen to talk with, just by meeting in the streets. And therefore, when Twilight tries to get a cap, people recognize subconsciously, okay, she has a horn, they probably also recognize the wings, but both elements on themselves are nothing special, and it doesn't necessarily click in their head like, oh my god, she has a horn and she has wings, she must be a princess! Ah! Or, theory number 2, there are actually more alicorns we haven't seen yet. But for the moment, I will just go with the first one, that because you simply do not pay so much attention to this kind of superficial elements in the person you're talking to, it is kind of understandable that not everybody is immediately, because this purple pony stands in front of them, that they necessarily recognize right away, oh, she must be a princess. In this episode, everybody knew there is a princess and she is coming, so everybody paid her attention as a princess. So even though she just has her normal appearance, people now are like, oh? This is still not giving an excuse for Twilight Time, so, because goddammit, she lived in Ponyville. Ponyville is a little village, so come on, guys. The children really just were weird. Other callbacks. I mean, the whole conflict of Rarity and Applejack, it reminded me totally of Look Before You Sleep, how they bash personalities, how they get stubborn, how they try to outfriend each other. I mean, I believe the term outfriend was actually brought up. Maybe this story arc, and probably neither of the other, would have been able to carry an episode on itself. But by only giving each story arc, I don't know, probably about a quarter of the episode, because the last quarter is for the intro and the outro and stuff, it still worked. And I also enjoyed that there were small parts when the story arcs interconnected, with Applejack and Rarity having their discussion in the forefront, and in the background you see Fluttershy flying one way, flying the other way, and then Rainbow and Fluttershy returning over. Really nice to see. This is some kind of smart writing. So I still see potential with Scott Sunburn. He may have a tendency to misrepresent characters, probably mainly for the sake of humor, I don't know. In this episode, it was a very silly episode, it had a lot of silly jokes. I mean, come on, the fetch quest with getting one element for the next. Give him episodes that allow a little bit for silly humor, and these are not too character focused, but allow enough character focus for a bunch of nice callbacks. And he does a rather decent job. Just the Discord lamp, callback to season 3. They made a whole product line out of it. Like, what? Fluttershy training this Cerberus-like monster, which is, I'm not sure if it is an actual callback to a Greek mythology monster, or if they just came up with the two-headed Cerberus version. Also not sure if you saw it in the tent of the monster trader. There was this monster from the scariest cave in Equestria, from Pinky Apple Pie, that's the name. Callback among callback, and there was so much going on in the background. I mean, holy crap, this was a lively and diverse background, if you have ever seen one. I mean, holy crap. There were very few cloned background ponies. There were a lot of unique ponies, and a lot of stuff was going on in the background. At one point there was just, I believe it was when Applejack and Rarity walked down the shot and were discussing to pool their stuff. There was this one pony in the background which just was bouncing and had a happy smile and something to trade, or she just traded. And just this small detail to the background, I'm not sure if they just throw out all their thunder right now, or if this is a standard for the last few episodes, if they keep this high standard up. The more I think about it, there will probably be another filler one with rather limited animations. But nevertheless, this episode, visually beautiful, with a lot of diversity and a lot of detail. They paid a lot of attention to detail, so it was very lovable in this regard. Callbacks without end. I can already hear the people scream like, shut up! They make an episode clustered with nice callbacks through this season, through the last season, back to until the first season. So just enjoy it, for crying out loud. It was fun. Narrative-wise, okay, not the greatest achievement. We got these 3 very small partial stories with the 3 pairs. We even got the Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash one, which actually carried the moral at the end. I have to say they found a nice solution for this conflict with Fluttershy and Rainbow, because in her role, Twilight made the right call by saying, sorry, everybody agreed to this trade, that's the rules, I cannot bend the rules. And it would have been a really, really awkward message if she kind of overruled as a principle of friendship or something. So I'm really glad that they took the way of letting the trader, the book trade person, letting her call the deal off. Every other solution would have been horrible, I guess. And for the other two stories, I mean, yeah, even the Applejack Rarity one got a nice conclusion by having them actually both give up their part of the pool to buy a present for the other one. Okay, now I kind of have to retract all my own words, because even the Twilight Pinkie Pie one had its own little conclusion. Huh. Okay, I didn't say anything. Narrative-wise, he had to split the narrative, but he actually managed to have development within all the three stories and to get every sub-story a conclusion. Okay, I'm really impressed by now. So, final verdict. It is not my favorite episode, because other episodes had certain levels of epicness, which this one did not reach. But it was really good on so many levels. Animation-wise, it was rather great, with all the details and stuff. Writing-wise, I have to say, yeah, also pretty good. Well done, well done. I was skeptical after seeing that it is a guy from Somebody to Watch Over Me. So, the certain level of epicness is still missing. It's not a Pinkie Pride, but I like it. Yeah, great, yeah. This is AnY Pony saying, see you soon. He completely tore apart Applejack's character in order to create all those funny situations. Apple Family Road Trip episode. Apple Pinkie Pie. Apple Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Apple Pie, that's the name.